Hey Utah, it's Dinko, the realtor, and today we're going to take a look specifically at the new construction housing market and what's going on. If you've paid attention to the previous videos, we went over everything in general, and the picture so far doesn't look very good for home values going into the future, and we've seen that home prices have been coming down 6 consecutive months with no end in sight yet. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, that way you're following the videos and you know when to buy in 2023. Now, new construction, as I stated, has a whole lot going on, and Lennar, the nation's second biggest builder, has a report that they published publicly. And the reason that they have to publish this publicly is they're a publicly traded company. So you want to go buy their stock, you want to invest, they have to give you real information so that you're not going in blind and investing on false information. Now, if we take a look at this here, we see that welcome to Lennar's third quarter earnings conference call. And this was September 22nd of 2022. So this is where they gave this report. And now if we take a look here and we scroll all the way down to page 12, we see the category 3 is what they have the entire state of Utah. So right here, the entire state of Utah is in their category 3 market. Now, what they've done is they've put their markets in 3 different categories. Category 1's markets are performing still relatively well, and they feel like they haven't lost too much market share, and they feel like they have things possibly under control. Now, category 2 are markets where they've done price drops, incentives, and they've done a lot of stuff to feel like they've regained that control. So they feel like they've gained them. And we're going to go over the category 2 markets first. That way we can kind of see the difference between category 2 and category 3. And remember, the entire state of Utah is category 3. So that's definitely something we're going to have to keep in mind here. So here we go, category 3. Now, if we scroll up here to category 2, we see a lot of our neighbors there. So category 2 markets right here highlighted at the top. And we see here that they have Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville. They have Atlanta, Chicago, Nashville, Houston, Dallas. But right here, some of our neighbors, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Colorado. And then a lot of people that are moving here from California, right? So coastal California, Bay Area, Sacramento, Seattle, and Portland. Now, the thing about the Bay Area, San Francisco, is they're actually negative year over year on their home values. So not only have they lost all of the home values from 2022, they've actually started losing the prices gained in parts of 2021. And Seattle has pretty much lost almost all of its 2022 gains as well. So this is what we kind of have to keep a track of what's going on nationwide, what markets are doing, and these are their category 2 markets. So, and we're in category 3, which means that they're not really, too happy, too intrigued by the future that the Utah housing market holds. So there's the Bay Area, and then, like I said, Seattle. So traffic has slowed down. We saw a pickup in cancellations, so more people are canceling. We've had to offer more aggressive financing programs, base price reductions, right? So cutting the price of their homes, and or increase incentives to regain sales momentum. So what that means is they're probably giving some free upgrades, incentives to make sure that somebody's buying the house. And what a lot of builders have been doing is, for example, they'll finish a basement and they'll say, hey, we still sold it at that base price of, let's just say, $600,000. But they finished the basement and gave you all of these incentives and free upgrades. So really, you didn't pay that price because they gave you incentives. A finished basement would cost you 50, 60, 70, 100 plus thousand, depending on the size, if you're putting a second kitchen in it, etc. So that's other things that builders are kind of doing, and which is misinterpreting the data when they say, hey, this house sold. Well, 2 neighbors next to each other, picture this, right? One bought 6 months ago. They bought the house at $750,000. And then neighbor 2 just bought their house. However, they bought the house at $725,000. So on the face value, it looks like, oh, not too big of a price drop. They only paid $25,000 less. Yes, that sucks, but not the end of the world. However, they had a bunch of more incentives given to them, maybe some free upgrades. Oh, and they had a free finished basement. That basement would have cost them maybe $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, but the builder did it. And in order to be able to say, hey, we sold this house for $725,000. So there are things that are going on like that. So as we see here, they feel like they've regained that sales momentum. Now, if we, right here. So in in some cases, to avoid cancellations, they've had to adjust prices on homes in backlog, which means homes that are already under contract. So they've had to make adjustments for that. Now, if we go down here, so this is category 3, and this is where the entire state of Utah is. So it's not just the greater Salt Lake City area. As we're seeing, they're putting cities in these categories, but they put the entire state of Utah. So St. George all the way here to the Wasatch Front. Let's take a look more at this report here. So right now, what they're seeing is category 3 is more significant market softening and correction. And this includes Austin, Reno, Boise, and Utah. Austin has actually lost all of its, I was reading a report, they've lost all of their 2022 gains. We haven't done that yet, but we're pretty close to it. And the data kind of shows that that's where we're headed. And Lennar isn't too excited about the future either. They have us in category 3. So as I've been stating, the data doesn't seem like we're stabilizing yet in our marketplace. And this is just kind of a little bit more evidence that we probably aren't. So make sure, like I said, you hit that subscribe button. That way you're notified when new videos drop. And I follow the data. I follow what's going on nationwide. That way you're up to date. That way you know when to buy in 2023. So you don't buy a house and next thing you know, 6 months later, you're upside down. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions for me, my contact information will be down below in the description. Call or text me day or night. So let's get back over here to this report now. The fear is also that the prices have not hit bottom. So that's another reason why these markets haven't stabilized, and it's led to an elevated level of cancellation. So remember, they had cancellations in their category 2 markets, and now they're seeing an elevated, right? So now that means category 3, they're seeing more cancellations than they were in their category 2 markets. Now, if we go back over here to the report, we see here that they're having to do a whole lot to feel like they're regaining market share. So mix of significant base price adjustments, sale incentives, and aggressive mortgage buydowns. So they're having to do a whole lot of different stuff in order to gain control of the housing market. And that's the nation's second biggest builder. So they're not going to be publishing reports 100% with true evidence, because they still probably want somebody to buy their stocks and invest. They're not going to say, hey, we think it's totally going to collapse, right? But they are giving us some pretty solid information, and they don't feel confident, and that this is something we definitely have to monitor and see what's going forward. Now, if we take a look at this article here, so this is stuff that I've shared on my previous videos, and right here is, if we take a look, housing starts in the US rebound to the fastest pace since the mid-2006. So this was published at the beginning of 2022. And now if we take a look at this next article here, again, this information was shared in my previous videos. But if we take a look, housing starts surge in February of 2022. So they were up almost 7% from January of 2022 to February of 2022. However, the big indicator and the big kicker here is that they increased by 22% from a year ago. So what that means is that the new construction starts in February of 2022 were 22% higher than they were in February of 2021. So when people are saying that we're not getting this inventory, and I was looking at some other information, some other charts, we are pretty close when it comes to new construction. We're pretty close to what it was during that 08-09 Great Recession housing crisis. So we have to keep an eye on all this different information. And also, right now, what's kind of making inventory low, though it's not low at all right now. Right now, we have over 9,000 houses currently listed on the MLS. Same time last year, there was less than 3,000. It was 2,800 and something. And right now, we have 9,100 and something. So we literally have more than 3 times of the amount of houses listed on the MLS today in December than we did in the recording of this video, because I pulled that information, than we did in December 6th of 2021. So that's just showing how much inventory is going up. Market share has never been bigger for new construction. Well, the people that are holding on to their houses, they're going to have to sell sooner or later. We saw that happening at the beginning of the year in 2022, and that's where a lot of this inventory has come from. Once January came around, people started putting their houses up for sale, and there was just about 4,000 to 6,000 houses hitting the market for about 6, 7, maybe even 8 months straight. And that's where we've kind of got this stagnated inventory. And right now the holidays are almost over. That means we're about to start hitting 4,000 to 6,000 houses again that are going to be hitting the market. Now, they're talking about the recession, about unemployment, and all of this stuff with new construction can definitely impact home values further, and we can see them dropping further and further. So make sure you watch the other videos. They're very detailed, and it'll make sure that you're an up-to-date home buyer. Like I said, hit that subscribe button down below. That way you're notified when new videos drop and you know when to buy in 2023. Like I said, if you have any questions, you need to get a hold of me. My contact information will be down below in the description. Call or text me anytime. And until next time, have a great day.